Hey Tamsin, how you doing?
Hey, all good.
I see you just came back from a bike ride.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, I was running a little bit late because we had a few mechanicals as usual, but it's all good.
How long of a ride did you guys do? Or did you go
It's
by
about
yourself?
no, I was with a few people actually. Vanessa Raw, who's one of the UK triathletes, British triathletes, short course, and a friend. We were out in the Surrey Hills, as we call it here, for 110k, so nearly 4 hours. It's good.
That's
Nice day today for once in London.
but that's a long effort for someone who does short course,
Yeah, no, she's building for Kitzbühel. You know the
right? The hilly race, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they literally have to ride up a mountain, so lots of hills at the moment. Yeah.
And so, do you think your terrain where you're riding is good for for her training, or is it
It's not great for my training. It's a bit better. I mean, there's some short, steep hills here, but if you want to do any TT riding, a big drag here because there's lots of potholes and lots of traffic, and that's why I don't tend to spend too much time in London these
so?
days.
What are you getting ready for?
Well, we're just deciding at the moment. I might do Norway next, the 70.3 there. And we're looking at Brazil late in August, the 70.3 in Brazil. One of the reasons is because there's a lot of money there and there doesn't seem to be that many people yet. And I've never been to Brazil. And the European Championships, 70.3 Ironman champs in August in Europe as well.
So,
And then long term, we're still deciding on Cozumel or Wales as our Ironman towards the end of the year.
I was just going to ask you if you're mostly focused on 70.3 races, but you just answered that question.
Yeah. I've been put off for a while by the idea of Ironman racing the full distance because seeing too many casualties in the medical tent, and my ex-boyfriend was one of them. So I feel a bit fills me with trepidation still.
So I mean, clearly, like racing halves is you can do more events, and the injuries are still occurring, but less likely. Is that a big driver? But also, you're busy otherwise. So do you actually have the time to train full distance?
Well, that's it, isn't it? You know, I mean, when I was with Brett Sutton's team, you literally train 40 hours a week, and your whole life is swim, bike, run, and nothing else. But I like having a little bit else because it keeps my brain occupied. But the more and more studies are coming out saying we need less volume and for Ironman than we think we do. So every athlete's different, but for me, more volume doesn't seem to help. More intensity does seem to, and strength and conditioning seems to help me. So my approach might be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's clearly an individual thing, and for anyone to write, to make a generalization on how this should work is probably gonna injure some people.
Yes, definitely. I mean, yeah, I've found definitely that I don't need to ride. Even Brett used to say to us, the girls don't really need to ride more than 4 hours for Ironman. So, I mean, our long rides were only 4 or 5 hours with him, maximum 5 hours. But,
Talking about your upcoming race,
Mm.
are you fit? Are you feeling good?
I didn't come out very well out of 70.3 Italy. I raced that just over a week ago, actually. And I nearly won the race. I had a 6-minute lead off the bike. But leading up to the race, 2 days before, I crashed on the course. And when it rained and I hit a cable in the road. So I went into the race very much battered and covered in road rash and managed to hobble around the run course and lose my 6-minute lead with 200 meters to go. So I haven't pulled up that well from that. But, fitness wise, it's still there. I'm just getting back to the running and getting lots of soft tissue work and healing. So,
but it sounds like, hey, even injured, that you pulled off a decent result just the same.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good enough. But, when you normally, I felt like I was jogging, like hobbling jogging as opposed to running how I normally would run. So I took confidence from it, but it was frustrating not being able to. No one told me she was coming until she was right behind me, and I was like, oh God, I had nothing.
Yeah, it's but even if you had been told, do you think that would have given you more? Or, but I guess because it was so close.
I could have probably found something more over the preceding 3 or 4K, but not over the last 200 meters. No.
So, I mean, generally, not just on that day, is sprinting in general not something that works for you?
No, I love sprinting, and that's something I had when I was a kid. I always used to out sprint people in the last 100 meters, so it was very frustrating. Like one of those dreams when you're trying to run and then you feel like you're being captured and no one's letting you run. That's what I felt like.
That doesn't sound like too positive of an experience.
No. I've lost a bit of motivation after that, but it's coming back now.
Well, at least you didn't find out that the person ahead of you was caught in a positive test.
No, that's true. It's happened a few times. I have raced Lisa Haler a few times, and I think my opinion on her has been made clear on Twitter and Facebook with other pros as well. And I find it very frustrating to race her because of what's happened and what she's been accused of and what she was found positive of. And the lack of remorse, I think, is one thing that strains me about racing her.
I was not even thinking about Lisa Hüttaler here. I was actually talking about Virginia Barras-Figui.
Yeah, sure. I also have met her. I've never raced her, but I know that she stole the gold from Jody, who's a good friend of mine. But I mean, what can you do? It's very difficult. She's a lot of people that know her think she's a wonderfully lovely person, and she's always smiling. She's always, happy and chatty. A smile hides a lie, doesn't it?
Well, it's I guess we haven't seen the B sample yet, so I guess it's difficult to say completely, but it doesn't look good for sure.
No, not twice. And I read about what they said about the first sample. She actually got away with it because they were able to prove that the test was, it wasn't 100% bulletproof, that it was EPO. It was just excess protein. But it completely is dodgy, especially in the light of Dr. Fuentes and all the other Spanish cyclists that have been caught. And why is no one else having the same situation? I'm very dubious. I grew up around professional cyclists. My dad was a professional cyclist, did the Tour de France twice. So I've grown up around a lot of cyclists. I know a lot of drug stories, and I was always skeptical about Lance. And people said, "Don't be stupid," and I'm like, "No, 100%." So I'm skeptical.
Skeptical is a good thing. It's better than being naive, right? So, talking about drug testing, do you think enough is done?
I don't. I mean, I've only ever been urine tested. I'm not on a whereabouts. Many people I know aren't on a whereabouts system. I did put a tweet out showing that the Ironman WTC lists their pro athletes that are on whereabouts, and there's not very many. They also have national federation testing, as you know, but many athletes aren't on national federation testing. So it isn't good. It has got better. As I think Corinne Abraham put out a tweet yesterday saying she was blood tested a number of times this year. So I think it's getting better. But it's the cyclists cheated the system for so long. If the doctors are giving these drugs to the athletes who have been dealing with these cyclists, they know how to cheat the system. If you don't get tested all winter, there's a good chance, out of competition that you can get away with it. So.
What about the penalties, the bans? Are they long enough?
Well, I mean, 2 years, no. I do think, and I've said this before, that if someone's taken EPO, growth hormones, steroids, testosterone, like Lisa has, those drugs are very potent. They're going to have effect on your system for a long, long time. Once you're trained under the influence, and this isn't just coming from physiological studies; it's coming from the word of mouth with cyclists who have tried these things. It stays with you. So I think there should be some kind of system for determining what you've taken, and lifetime ban absolutely for EPO and growth hormone. But if it's a pseudoephedrine from a cold and flu tablet that you've been caught for, then I think a year, 2 year ban is within rights.
Yeah, it's a difficult topic, and clearly I think triathlon has also learned from cycling that maybe you don't want to dig too deep because it hurts your brain.
It does. I mean, these networks are very vast, but I definitely think it exists in the triathlon world. I think only where there is money involved. I mean, there's not a lot of money in triathlon unless you're at the top. You know, the top 5-10 Kona people. There's more money in the States. I think it's more prevalent in countries like Austria and Spain and Germany, where age group is have been caught using drugs. So it is a culture, and it depends who you train with, because most of these athletes that have been tested for positive for drugs have been surrounded by cyclists and stuff where it's more normalized almost.
Yeah, I know, 100%. On a more positive note,
yes.
Anything else exciting with you? Sponsors? Anything else we should know?
I'm looking for a bike sponsor actually this year. I was being helped out by a British company, but they folded. So a local bike shop has helped me out with a bike this year, but I don't have a bike sponsor. So I'm trying to develop some relationships this year and get a better profile so that someone can help me out. I work closely with Compress Sport and Zero OD, who are European brands, and the Priory, which is a healthcare group who I used to work for, helped me financially. But we're always on the lookout for developing new relationships. So,
well, maybe we can spread the word.
That would be great.
Well, it was really good seeing you, Tamsin.
Thanks very much.
And you have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.